welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is a place where I talk about what I've been knitting and sewing each month. I'm Alex and I'm going to put my cup of tea down and I'm going to start by sharing what I'm wearing, because I don't think I've ever been as excited to share a finished project as I am today. So this is the Winterberry shawl, and it's a project that I've been working on with Claire of Sister Mountain since June, and this is actually a pattern that's available in my new Winterberry holiday kits. So I've got this gorgeous Winterberry bag that I have, if you're new here, I screen print my own fabrics which I design, and I sew project bags and other accessories for knitters. So this is the kit that I've worked on with Claire, and it has this lovely sort of red canvas bottom. All the fabrics I use are organic, and we have used the Fiberco Cumbria fingering. So this is the Blend Cathra colourway that I'm wearing, and we also have the shawl in this lovely red, which you can see matches the bag perfectly. So if you want one of the kits, I'll tell you some more about the shawl, but if you want the kits, they're in the shop and there'll be a link below this video. I always put all the show notes, every yarn, pattern, all the things that I talk about are in the show notes, and the links below the video takes you over to the blog and you see a list of everything there. If you want to get show notes to your email, you can have an email every time a video goes live. Anyone that's on my show notes mailing list gets notified, and you can see in that email everything that I talk about, so all the patterns, yarns, everything, before you've even clicked over to the video, so you'll know what I'm talking about. So if that's for you, find those links below. But I'm going to carry on telling you about the shawl because this is so exciting. Basically, I approached Claire and said that I had the idea for this Winterberry kit, and did she want to design a shawl. I did put I think it was probably around that time that I put a poll up in my Instagram stories asking what patterns you'd be interested in a kit for this season, and shawl came out as quite a top answer, and I was really surprised because I felt like shawls had sort of taken a little bit of a dip over the last couple of years, but I thought, yeah, a shawl would be great. And I approached Claire. Claire's a friend of mine. We've worked together sort of on and off for many years now. We actually met, I think it was at the Pom Pom Christmas party, probably like 5 or 6 years ago. We met there, and we saw each other at a couple of other events and things, and yeah, we finally got to collaborate on a knitwear piece. So she designed this, and the brief basically was to do something very simple. I said that I liked asymmetric shawls. I wanted something with a little bit of a detail, so it kept the knitting interesting, and she really delivered. So let me show you, I'll give you a closer look. This is the small version. There's two versions. I've got the larger one here, but I'll start by sharing the small version. Both can be knitted out of the two skeins that you get in your kit, and this is a really fun knit. So basically, you start at this corner, you're going to increase, you go straight for a little bit in the middle, and then you decrease down to this corner. So when you get to the end, you have like a few stitches on your needles, and that's it to bind off, which I thought was genius, because one of the things with a shawl is, you've probably had this where you're flying along at the beginning and it feels like it's growing really quickly. Then you get to the middle and it feels like every row is growing so slowly, and then you get to the end and you've got hundreds of stitches on your needles to bind off. And yeah, it kind of takes a little bit of the fun. I mean, we all love knitting shawls, so that's something that we're happy to, kind of a price you pay for knitting those great big shawls. But I thought this was a great idea of Claire's to do side to side, because it grows really quickly. You have maximum number on your stitches. I can't remember. I want to say for the large size, say it's around 150, and then the smaller size probably more like 100. I think it's more than 100, but around that kind of figure. And definitely was 100% less than 200 stitches. So that's as many as you have on, and then you're decreasing. And once you get to sort of like here, this last section you just cannot put down because you want to get to the end of your shawl. So it's one of those that you just want to do one more row and you want to see how much more you can get to the end. So it's a really, really fun knit, and this yarn, you can probably already see it blocks beautifully. Fiberco Cumbria, it has a little bit of mohair, I think about 10%, and it's a merino and a masham base. So it has this really lovely definitely has a sort of real woolliness to it. It's very, very squishy, if you can see that. It's like a very squishy yarn, and it's very warm, so it's great for winter time. Now I'm going to channel my inner Andrea Mowry. If you've watched her videos, you'll know that she quite often shows you how to wear and style her shawls at the end of her videos. So this is how I would wear these. So because it has a sort of shorter end, I find it best if you kind of anchor your short point just over your shoulder. Then you want to take your long end, wrap it all the way around until you've got your long piece. Now tuck this one under, and you're going to want to sort of hold on and just twist so that you get your nice crescent sort of at the front, and you get that nice long tie at the side. You see that? I think I've done that okay. It's really hard to see in the viewfinder, but yeah, I think that shows you. And then so you've got your little tie just tucked under there, and this is a really good size if you want to wear it under a winter coat or a jacket. I feel like just having all this sort of right there where the wind's blowing in is so cozy, and you can really bundle it up around your neck. So I hope you're excited by the shawl. I am, as you can tell, very, very excited, but I'm going to show you the larger size. So this is the small. Both can be knitted out of the 2 skeins, as I said. The great thing about this is if you're a little bit unsure about your gauge, nobody wants to swatch for a shawl. I know this, I wouldn't swatch for a shawl. What you can do is just so you make sure, because you do not want to be playing yarn chicken with this, because as I say, you end at the point. It's not like a normal shawl where you might think, oh, if I'm cutting it a bit fine, if my gauge is off, I can just not knit a few rows at the end. With this, you really do need to have enough yarn to knit to the point. So, but because you're increasing, before you get to the point where you are choosing between the large and the small, you could increase the amount of stitches you need to do the small. You'll have a really nice amount of knitting on the needles at that point, and you can have a look at your gauge and see roughly if it's close to what's in the pattern. This is knit on a 4mm needle, so you can have a look and see, and if you're close, you'll be fine to carry on. If you think, oh, actually I'm really off, my knitting's much looser and I've got a totally different gauge, and you think you might not have enough, then you can choose to knit the small, and it blocks out really beautifully, so you can really, really stretch it. If you've got blocking wires, I've got brought these out to show you. So I have these Knit Pick, it's their wire kit, and they have these stainless steel wires in. So you run it through the edge of your shawl, and I ran it sort of right through the curve, so I could really pull that curve and get a nice edge. And you can pin all the way along to your points, and yeah, really, really stretch out. This yarn will take blocking really nicely, so you can get lots of length. I'm going to show you with the big one. This I think is perfect for just wrapping around your shoulders, and as you can see, it's super cozy. I'm going to stand back so you can see the length. So you can see it drapes really beautifully. I'm quite petite, so I am only around 5 foot, so if you're much taller, it's not going to hang as low on you, but it's still a really nice generous size shawl. You can see all the detail. Isn't that beautiful where the eyelets really open up? Yeah, I love it. I'm so happy with how it turned out. Loved working with Claire. I'm so glad she said yes to this project. And yeah, I'm really, really excited to be having these kits in. I'm going to show you, just if you wanted to wear it more in the front, bandana style, you can tie your 2 ends at the back, pop your small end under, and you can see it's a really nice generous shape if you wanted to wear it like that. It's lovely, isn't it? So I'm going to have it around my shoulders while we're chatting. Oh, I feel like my hair's gone very fluffy. All that in and out. But let me tell you a little bit more about the kits really quickly. So you get the pattern, you're going to get your bag, this is the top handle tote, which is a great style. This is one of my favourite styles, and it's been super popular. So you can have, that's the small version of the kit. If you want to go for the deluxe version, maybe as a Christmas present to yourself, or you might want to drop a hint to somebody, you also get a Nations pouch, and you get a lavender sachet. And these are filled with organic lavender. They smell so good. And you also get a little wool wash bar. And these are made on a farm in Cumbria as well, so pair nicely with the yarn that we've got. So that's what you get in your kit. And what I really like about this fabric is, can you tell? Yeah, you can sort of see that the branches go lots of different ways. So one of the great things about that is that when I have the panels of fabric, I can actually put my pattern pieces anywhere on that fabric. There's no top and bottom because it's a scatter print. I've made it so that, yeah, you can basically cut your fabric. There's no right way up. So when I've cut the bag panels, I have 2 of these long sections. With the offcuts, I'm able to do the lavender sachets and the notions pouches. So it's a really great way of having low waste. There's very little waste with this print. So that's also something that's really good. I talked to my patrons before about sort of the learning curve with printing, and that's definitely something that every time you do a print, you learn something, or you think, okay, that's something that I could do different next time. And yeah, that's something that I really wanted to do, was try and get a nice print where all over it's scattered, no top, no bottom, could really maximise the use of that print. So I think I've achieved that with this, and I love how these kits turned out. So go and hop over to the shop, pre-order your kit. Pre-order is going to be open until Tuesday morning, so you really need to try and get your orders in on Monday if possible, because on Tuesday I'm going to actually order the yarn. So people on my newsletter have been pre-ordering all week, so it's time that I put my order in with Fibre Company to get the yarn for all your kits. So yeah, pop over there, pick up your kit, and yeah, I'm really excited to share that with you, so I hope you're happy as well. So next up, I've got, let's see what we've got in here. So this is in one of my Hello Fall bags. These have been sold out. If you really want one, let me know, because it was my intention to keep selling these sort of right up till Thanksgiving. But as I said, they've sold out, and I'm not sure if it's too close to the end of autumn to do another batch of these. But if it's something you really want, let me know, because I will if there's demand for it. But at the moment, yeah, as I say, they're actually sold out right now. But in here there is a Sophie scarf, and this has been, yep, I've jumped on the bandwagon. So many people are knitting this. I feel like, not even sure I need to introduce it, but it's a very simple, very slim. It does come with 3 different size patterns, but I'm knitting this small one, and I'm using a mystery skein of yarn that I think is the Fiberco Aramore Light. Didn't have a label on it, but I'm always certain that's what it is. But this is why it's a great project, because basically I saw everyone knitting this and I had a rummage and I was like, what have I got that's a single skein that I've not known what to do with? And it's this, because it's not really a yarn I use for socks. It's quite a woolly sort of yarn. Yeah, it's not a sock yarn. And I thought, yes, this is what it'd be perfect for. So I've been knitting this up. It's got a lovely texture. It's garter stitch. Very nice neat edge. The pattern, if you don't know, it's by Petite Knits. It's my first time knitting anything of hers. I know she's a very prolific designer and a lot of people love her work. I've not ever knit anything from her before, but yeah, I'm enjoying that so far. So that's what I've got in there. Next up, I've got a gift knit. Is anybody gift knitting? Let me know in the comments what you're working on. You're probably gift knitting right now as we speak. Actually, if you're knitting on a Sophie scarf while you're watching, let me know in the comments, because I bet there's some people knitting on one of those as well. But this is in one of my pumpkin spice bags. I love this colour. This is so good. I'm so glad I found this. When I find the perfect colour for my bottoms of the bags, that makes me very happy. Oh, this is why. I was wondering, what I was thinking, where's this yarn coming from? I'm holding the new ball, not the ball that's attached to my knitting. So this is Wool of the Andes, and I'm knitting a flax sweater for my nephew. So I will link to the flax sweater I knit when he was baby. So it was, I think I knit the 1-year-old size. And it's a very simple sweater, but you can't see too much of what's on the needles. I'm going to try and show you. On the sleeves, you have this sort of garter panel, which I think just adds a lovely little detail to a very simple pattern. And it's on large needles. It will knit up really quickly. I am not knitting this it is a gift knit, but I'm not going to try and aim to get it finished at Christmas. I really don't like having deadlines for knitting, and I've already decided to knit my dad a scarf. So I feel like there's one project that I can handle a deadline knit on for Christmas, but I don't want to do two. So this is going to be gifted to him, but I've got lots of lovely things for him to open on the day, and I'm just going to get this finished sometime over the next few weeks. And if it's not done on the day, that's fine. I can gift it slightly after. He's not going to mind. He's only 2, so I think that's perfectly fine. So that's what I've got in there. So next up on my needles is a pair of socks, and these are actually going to be in my, I'm going to do another Christmassy cast on box, and it won't be with this bag. This is the Blue Moon sack that I did last year for my sock sets. But yeah, I've got a secret bag coming for this, so this isn't the exact bag, but this is the pattern that's going to be included. It's a pattern from Olivia of This Handmade Life, and for all those people that like top down, or a cuff down I should say, this is a cuff down sock, and I've picked a pattern that's a little bit different from last year. It was a very lacy sock, and this is something that's a little bit more classic, a little more understated, and yeah, a very classic sort of foundational piece for your sock wardrobe, if you want to call it that. But basically, yeah, I thought it'd be nice to do something a little bit of a contrast to last year, and I love this stitch. Olivia actually holds a yarn, a sock weight yarn with a mohair, and this is the Fiberco. This is turning into a very Fiberco heavy episode, isn't it? It's all Fiberco yarn. I did used to work with Fiberco a couple of years ago. I'm not currently working with them now. But this is a yarn that they were working on when I was there, and I know that they spent a long time developing this. It has a recycled nylon. It's called Amble, if I didn't already say that. And it has a recycled nylon, and they worked with the yarn company, or the people that spin and make the yarn, to develop an easy wash treatment, which is an eco-friendly version of, I guess, a superwash treatment, but basically it does something to the yarn that makes it washable, but it doesn't use all the chemicals and the kind of usual process of superwash. It's an eco-friendly treatment. So yeah, it's a really, really good yarn. It has a little bit of alpaca, which is giving it this lovely little halo. So actually great if you're allergic to mohair, because this gives that lovely fuzzy texture, but you don't have to carry an extra yarn with your sock yarn, and it's a bit more plump than a, I'm not sure if you see that, but it is more plump than a regular sock yarn. So it's perfect for the gauge that Olivia knits in the pattern, holding the 2 yarn double. It has a twisted, no, not twisted, what do you call it? A tubular cast on, which I don't always do tubular bind offs and cast ons, but for this, it's a small amount of stitches on the needles, and actually it does give a really nice effect. And I think when you're doing something simple as this, all the little details stand out that little bit more, don't they? So I do think it was worth doing that. You could obviously substitute a different cast on if you wanted to, but yeah, I think it was worth it. It gives a lovely finish, and I'm really pleased with how my socks are coming out. So I've got a few inches on those. I'll probably be working on them this weekend. All of my projects have only got a little bit on the needles, because obviously since I saw you last time I've managed to knit 2 shawls. The small one I knit at just a leisurely pace, so I was knitting that in the evenings, a little bit at the weekends, and I did that in I think 3 weeks. So just to give you an idea of how long it might take you, I'm not particularly a fast, speedy knitter. Speed definitely isn't something that comes into my knitting at all, actually. I'm just knitting for, I want it to feel comfortable, I want it to feel relaxing, I'm not rushing to finish anything. So yeah, that took about 3 weeks, but yeah, in the time that I've seen you, I've done 2 shawls, so you can understand why those projects have only got a little bit on the needles. And the next thing I'm going to show you is something I am loving, and it's a sewing project. So this is an Improv quilt, and I'm going to stand up and show you. This is actually, I think I've got, there's 1 long block and then 4 smaller blocks, and I'm not sure if this is how they're going to sit next to each other. You can see where I've pinned there, and then I've pinned here. So I pinned them together because I thought it showed sort of how they're going to look in the finished quilt. It gave a much better idea of what the quilt would look like when it's done. But yeah, I'm not sure if that is how they will sit at the end, because obviously this is an improv quilt, so you're kind of working out as you go what you want to do with each block. And I want to show you this here, the 2 blocks. I'm going to come close so you can see that. this is some fabric that I dyed with indigo in a class that I did at the Hillview Creativity Retreat. And I've been hoarding this yarn. I think it's been for like 5 years, I think was when I went on that retreat. And it's so precious, I've never known what to do with it. And when I saw this pattern, I thought, okay, this is the time to cut into this fabric and use it for something. So for full transparency, the company that are putting this pattern together, so it's a course, it's called the It's the Improv and Fearless, see what they did there, Fearless Quilting course by Petal Plum. And this course is part of a big bundle called the Creative Bundle. And I'm working with the Creative Bundle this week. So I'm an affiliate, haven't been paid to make the quilt, haven't been paid anything, but if you purchase the course, I'm an affiliate, so I get a little bit of a commission on each of the sales. So in all the time I've been on YouTube, I think I've been on here for about 5 years, I've been on Instagram for 10 years, I've been approached by different people, Notions, Yarn, Skillshare, jewellery companies, and I've never really wanted to promote anything on my channel outside of sort of what I'm working on, what I'm selling in my shop. But when I saw this, actually somebody I know, Rebecca, she has a natural dyeing ebook in there. So she was the person that sort of turned me onto the Creative Bundle. And I just knew that I wanted to talk to you about this. And it's like a bonus, if you guys want to make a quilt with me as well, and you click through my link and you buy it, that's great because I get commission. But the reason why I'm sharing it is because I really wanted to make the quilt. So that was the main reason for me saying, yeah, okay, let's work together this week. So the bundle I think is available till Tuesday when you're watching this. And there's like 56 courses, so it could be quite overwhelming. But this is, as I say, the Improv and Fearless. Let me pop open my laptop, so I'm going to actually tell you what there is, because there is so much stuff in this bundle. So I think the bundle is like, well, it's $75, so pound at the moment. Pound's really bad. If you want, actually, if you're in the US and you want to buy something in my shop, now is a great time, because I think you're getting, it's about £1 is $1. So yeah, the bundle has like hundreds of courses, so it's like worth over $3,000 or something like that. But you can do basket weaving, painting, natural dyeing. There is macrame. What else is there here? Embroidery, patterns, weaving. There's several weaving courses. So there's things for like basics, there's weaving in the round. There is brilliant biz photos, so you can learn how to take photos for your business. Art journaling, holiday cards, Instagram for artists, food photography. There's so many different things, but yeah, a lot of creative. If you're like me and you like trying lots of different crafts and things, this is a really good sort of bundle that has everything for a really great price, but you don't want to tackle it all in one go. I would look at this as like 2023, every month I'm going to like try another project. That's how I'd be looking at it. So if you like the quilt, sign up, download the quilt course, let's do this together. And then it's just a bonus, all the other stuff that's on there. If you are really interested in the quilt course actually is worth more than the bundle. So I don't really understand how these people, how the business works, how the business model works, because as I say, just this course it was at least $99. I want to say it was maybe like $125, but it was more than the £75 or $75, for the bundle. So get that, do the quilt course, and then all these other things are just extras that are in there. There's resin jewellery, floral lettering, more macrame, the art of gift wrapping. There is just so much stuff. Yeah, sewing, reclaim control of your email inbox, more weaving, guide to gouache painting, sketching. Yeah, there's really, really so much stuff. But yeah, as I say, I was really excited to do this. And I think the thing that's made this doable for me is the fact that I have learned how to put together a really good colour palette. So these are the yarns that I'm using, and sorry, not yarns, fabrics. So they're all sort of these blues, and this is the little basket of scraps that I'm pulling from. So there's all these different tones of sort of beiges and peaches, greys, and everything that I've pulled goes together really well. So I think that's the key, is that anything I pull out the basket, because you are supposed to piece as you go. You don't think, you don't plan, you are supposed to follow your gut instinct of what pieces go together. So you're not using a ruler, you are just cutting pieces as you go. So you would cut a small piece, actually you start with like your colours, and then I'm piecing the white blocks around it. And I think what really helped sort of get rid of my fear of doing it wrong, because improv does not come naturally. If you've bought my bags, you'll know I'm quite a meticulous sewer. I want things to match up and I want to follow a pattern, but this has really freed me up because all the fabrics I've pulled go together. So whatever I pick out, in whatever combination I put them in, the quilt's going to look good at the end. And it's a great way of using a small amount of scraps, because I don't have a huge fabric stash. I have a few pieces of fabric that I've pulled, and what I'm doing is putting them together with a base fabric, which is this sort of off-white colour. So it's a really good way of making this small amount of scrap stretch really far, because I'm actually going to make this into quite a big quilt, because now this was just like in a day I did this, and I've already got quite a lot, so I feel that I could I could make this really into a good size quilt. And I've always had a problem finishing big quilts, but this is so, you're in such a flow. I'm not pausing to iron things. I'm not as free as Ellie, who does the quilt. She just really hacks into that fabric and I'm actually using a rotary cutter. But I just think if you have any interest, go and just have a look. I'm going to put the link below and just see what you think, see if it's something for you. But I'm really enjoying it, and you're going to see this grow. So if this is a busy time of year, but if I would really like to finish this before Christmas, but if not, this is the sort of thing that I'll be working on over Christmas. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I think that's everything I've got to show you today. If you've been enjoying the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. I see lots of you watching every week, so I look at my analytics and you're watching but you're not subscribing, so hit the subscribe button and you won't miss another episode. And don't forget that you'll find all the show notes below this email. Sign up to the show notes mailing list, and most importantly, if you want your kit, go over to the shop, there'll be a link below. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really love chatting about all my makes, and next time I speak to you it's going to be December and we'll definitely be in Christmas mode. So have a great month and I will see you soon. Bye.